To all those people watching, I'd like to remind everyone that this video is not made for kids. It's for older fans and adults. Enjoy the fucking video! Like any railway you would find around the world, there is always a level crossing. Some work automatically, and others work by a lever from the signal box. Road vehicles of all shapes and sizes stop at the gates while an engine passes by, and the engines blow their whistles or horns to warn that they are coming. This is very important to ensure no one gets hurt should they try to cross as an engine approaches. But for Mike, he thinks this makes him invincible. "Make way for an important engine," he would often say. Mike's arrogance often annoyed the road vehicles, but he didn't care. "Who do you think you are?" cried one of the road vehicles crossly. "The king?" "Ooh," replied Mike, "a king? I like the sound of that." It obviously wasn't supposed to be a compliment, but Mike's big-headedness had gotten the better of him, and he did that next time he passed a crossing. "Make way for the king of the railway," he declared. Mike returned to the shed still feeling proud of himself. The other engines had heard about his boasting towards the road vehicles, and they were worried. "You have the right of way when it comes to level crossings, Mike. But you shouldn't flounce around like you're some king," said Rex. "And why is that, Rex?" replied Mike smugly. "Those crossing gates are meant for us. They are to remind the road vehicles that we are the top dog. Well, you know, you could have an accident one day. Driver told me about an engine that had an accident with a van on the Raven Glasgow Steel Railway over on the mainland. The same might happen to you if you keep being all puffed up in the smoke box." "Ha!" scoffed Mike. "I heard about that engine with a van. He wasn't truly the alpha engine like yours truly." Rex and the other engines rolled their eyes. Mike's haughtiness had not made him see any sense. It would have been better if he had. Hello everybody, welcome to the island of Sodor. A courier service was established on the island of Sodor. They like the mail but are more of a commercial enterprise. The mail gets sorted in a special warehouse at Tidmouth, and lorries and vans deliver them to people around the island. They even have the various railway lines to help them out. Some of the engines take the mail to the mainland. Others take them to various stations ready for people to collect. The miniature railway is one of these lines. A special van is placed at the end of a passenger train, and Rex, Bert, Mike, Jock or Sigrid take them to the top station, ready for people to collect. One day, Duck was waiting at the station on his branch line. It was a lovely, tranquil day. The autumn sun was shining, there was a gentle breeze, and in the distance the ocean was calm. "What bliss," he said to himself. But then all that changed. "Oh look, it's another of those green goblin on wheels," cried a voice. Duck was surprised. He soon found out who they were. "Those horrid fools," he groaned. They were the horrid lorries. Many years ago, Sir Charles Topham had ordered some lorries to help out with the extra work on his railway. but they were very rude to the engines and had instilled fear towards them that they would be taking their work away. However, they soon got their comeuppance with them being smashed, broken and sunk. Sir Charles was crossed by their behaviour and sent them away. When they returned to the mainland, they were repaired and were sold to other companies over the years doing odd jobs. Now they made their way back to Sodor, working for the new courier company. They arrived at the yards of the miniature railway. The little engines heard about the lorries as well, and knew that they were trouble. One of them looked towards Mike. "You lot should be under a Christmas tree," one of them jeered. "Look how tiny they are," jeered another. "They look like little toys." "We may look small," replied Mike, "but we are still useful." "Useful? Pah!" scoffed one of the lorries. "And you're any better?" Mike talked back. "I seem to remember hearing all three of you blowing your first chances when you were working for Sir Charles many years ago. Hardly useful yourselves." This made the three lorries cross. "Just so you know," Mike continued, "there are some level crossings here, so you have to make way for me." "What are you, a king?" finished Mike. "Yes, I am the king of this line, and don't you forget it. So you three better stay out of my way." The three lorries didn't like being told what to do by an engine, especially a miniature engine like Mike. Mike puffed away, leaving the lorries behind, fuming. "We'll show that half-pint tea kettle," said the first lorry. Indeed, whenever they saw him at the crossing, they threw and hurled insults at him. At first, Mike ignored their words and said, "Out of my way!" But as the days went by, he was getting more irritated. He went to the shed and complained about it to the other engines. "Those lorries are nasty things, calling me such rubbish. They should respect an engine like me." "Well, your arrogance about yourself being the king when it comes to level crossings had led you to this. But be careful though, you don't want to be like that engine on the Ratty that Rex told you about a few days ago," replied Sigrid. "I don't care about that engine. Those lorries need to respect an engine like me." The next day, one of the lorries was out on one of his deliveries along the miniature railway. He wasn't feeling very well and wanted to have a rest, but his driver told him that they must get the deliveries done on time. "Ooh," he groaned. "One rash couldn't hurt." His wish ironically came true. As he came to the crossing near Farquhar Road, there was trouble. "Oh no," groaned the driver. "We're stuck." "What luck," thought the lorry happily. The driver got out of the lorry and tried to push him, but he was too heavy. He tried it again and again, but the lorry wouldn't budge. Then they heard Mike's whistle. The lorry driver tried to push his lorry again, hoping for some kind of miracle to happen. Mike and his driver saw the commotion and applied the brakes. "Get out of the way!" whistled Mike frantically. His wheels screeched on the rails as Mike closed his eyes. His driver jumped clear. The lorry driver had no choice but to leave his lorry behind and duck for cover away from the crash site. There was a loud thump as Mike collided with the back of the lorry. Thankfully, Mike was pulling a goods train and no one was hurt, but Mike felt sore round his front running board. But he also felt very cross. "What were you thinking, you utter twit?" he shouted. "This isn't a car park, you know." "Well, I didn't choose to park here, mate," replied the lorry crossly. "I broke down because someone ignored my illness." Mike and the lorry were still arguing about who was to blame until their driver stopped the noise. The two of them exchanged insurances, and soon help had come. Butch came to tow the lorry away from the crossing, and Sigrid came to take Mike back to the yards. Mike was silent on the journey home. News soon spread down the line, and had already reached Bert, Rex and Jock, who were idly waiting in the shed. Mike soon heard a voice. "Looks like the king has lost his crown." Mike wasn't so sure, but he believed that the voice belonged to Rex. But ever since that day, Mike hadn't been boastful to any road vehicle whenever he passes the crossing. He blows his whistle and puffs on. The lorries were still rude to him, but over time they stopped their teasing, because Mike's days declaring himself as the king or invincible are over.